Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. Tonight we got a good one here. It is the Gladiator 200 here at the Last Great Coliseum. It is Bristol Motor Speedway here for 200 laps is the scheduled distance here tonight. It should be a good one here. It's going to be action-packed, short track racing, and I tell you what, we have chatted with a few drivers before this one, and they say this car is going to be a handful here tonight. So it's going to be a good one here. We're going to see drivers on the edge of control, and without that feel in the seat of your pants, it's going to make it challenging. Things are going to happen fast here, and yeah, we'll get ready to roll into it. Right now it's James Hipsloff with the quick time here in practice, then Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, Jamison Heath, and Jim Ott rounding out the top five. Looking on over, something really interesting actually when it comes to Bristol is we have had yet to have any repeat winner, and any of the times an 802 iRacing League race has gone to Bristol, there has been 0 repeat winners. We have came here, I think, a total of now 8 times, and they've all been different winners. When it comes to the Winston Cup Series, we, of course, have 5 different winners with this track pretty often on a schedule. We only haven't been to Bristol for 1 season, and that was back in season number 3. In those times, we've seen Keith Fallon, Rob Lowell, Jeff Pogo, Mike Kelly, and then Brian Huntley visit victory lane. So one of those guys, of course, Jeff Pogo, he actually comes into tonight with one of the best average finishes when it comes to Bristol, sitting at an average finish of 3rd. He's a driver we should keep an eye on here tonight, as well as another driver to keep an eye on. That is the 61 machine of Steve Ritter. Ritter also coming into tonight with an average finish of 3rd place. So that 61 machine has some speed when it comes to Bristol, and we'll see what he can do here tonight. So those are some drivers we got to keep an eye on as we head on over into qualifying. Of course, qualifying 2 times laps. We'll take your best of the 2-time laps, and of course that will set tonight's starting lineup as cars getting ready to rock and roll out to the speedway. Let's take a look here at the 92 machine. He was the quickest here in practice. We'll see what he can do for qualifying. This is James Hipsloff in the 92 machine. So James now on the clock here in qualifying, and of course qualifying very, very fast here at this racetrack. We'll see cars on the edge of control. Kind of the X factor, of course, is a track reset with this series. So drivers got to figure out on the fly what the limit of this race car is with the available grip in the racetrack. So Hipsloff lap number 1, a good lap for him, a 15.39. That will put him P number 4. Right now it is Steve Ritter with the quick time as Hipsloff across the stripe for the final time does improve to a 15.22. That'll put him P number 3, but Steve Ritter with a 15.15 up at the top of the board. That is a great lap, and he was one of those drivers we are going to have to keep an eye on here tonight. Another driver here pretty good at qualifying, the 73 machine of John Crosby. Crosby will go P number 2 on his first lap. We'll see if he can find half a tenth here on lap number 2. Looks like he will not loose off of turn number 2, trying to catch the back end of that race car as big time slide there to the start finish line, as he quite didn't get that lap. Even though sliding across the line, he's able to still throw down a 15.28. That would have put him inside of the top 10. Wow. Another driver here rolling out to the speedway. Glad to see him running some 802 races again. It is the 27 machine of Kip Easley. So we'll see the Nitro number 27 machine get up to speed here as easily will start his first time lap. Of course, remember, every driver has to try and attempt a lap. As Easley gonna go around early here on lap number 1, right into turn number 1. So finding that limit of that grip here, like I said, in qualifying, very, very key. And that's one way to find it there into turn number 1. So we'll see if he can get things back rocking and rolling, as it looks like most everyone else here kind of wrapping on up here in qualifying. So a lot of cars out here early. Now we'll take a look here. This is our points leader coming into tonight. It is the 26 machine of Josh Parker. We'll see what kind of lap Parker will want to throw down, and easily after a spin lap number 1, able to put the 27 machine inside the top 10, as easily will go to 10th. Still, it is Steve Ritter at the top of the charts. Parker definitely taking it very easily here in qualifying. It looks like Parker may want to try and start from the back of the field once again, as it looks like his pace not really picking on up here, even on his second lap. Another driver here trying to pick up time on his second lap. It is the 20 machine of Mike Wolf. Wolf able to go to 17th here with a 15.44 for the 20 machine. As it looks like some trouble there off of there. And yeah, it looks like Josh Parker just electing to, once again, in a Josh Parker fashion, kind of ride around in the back here to start the race, start deep in the field, and see where he can get on up to the running order. So it looks like only 2 drivers have yet to take a time here tonight. That is, of course, Jamison Heath and Dylan Hinton. Both of them not posting a lap time yet, though. 25 drivers have posted a time here. And right now it looks like with things wrapping on up, about 30 seconds left, I think we can give it to this guy. And I believe the first Rock Pirates RC Pole Award of the season for the 61 machine. Let me double check that stat just to be sure. As yes, it is. First pole award for Steve Ritter. And remember, Ritter, one of those drivers with a very low average finish when it comes to Bristol. Keep an eye on the 61 here. But Steve Ritter walking away here tonight with the Rock Pirates RC Pole Award. Congrats to Steve on that. And what do we say? We head down trackside and get ready to go through tonight's starting lineup here for the Gladiator 200 at Bristol. Alrighty, tonight's starting lineup will look like the following, as Steve Ritter in the Bone Dry 61 machine will lead the field to the green flag to his outside. The 73 of John Crosby making up row number 2 will be the 21 machine rolling off in third. That is Rob Lowell, and James Hislop in that 92 machine will start in fourth. Rounding out the top 5, that is the 48 machine of Grant Humphrey. Scott Simley comes into tonight second in points, still within 1 race striking distance of Josh Parker. Simley will roll off in 6th. Anthony Calatoni will start in 7th here tonight in the 84. Jim Ott in the 4 machine will start in 8th. Jeff Pogo in the 97 will roll off 9th, and Kip Beasley in the 27, rounding out the top 10. Rolling off 11th, it's the 7 machine of Tyler Humphrey, Nate Brooker in the 00 will start in 12th. 13th going to the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Barker, he's another one in the points. He has moved up to 3rd in points. Tim Rogers in the 80 machine will start in 14th. Brandon Hinton will start in 15th. Chris Brogar in the 11 machine will start in 16th. 17th going to Michael Wolf. Mason Hall in 18th. Arabia Caton in 19th, Todd Perot 20th, Chance Griffith 21st, Dan Holcroft 22nd, Jason Harrison 23rd, Evan Fuqua in 24th, and then the rest of the field, Josh Parker in 25th, Dylan Hinn 26th, and Jameson Heath starting in 27th as we get ready to rock and roll here tonight at Bristol. It's going to be Ritter Crosby on the front row as we get ready to send him on loose. We'll wait for the green lights. Here we go. We are green flag racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll head down into turns 1 and 2, 2 by 2. Will not be the case off the corner as Ritter gets a great drive off that corner there. He will take over the point. Crosby will slide into second as Hislop and Lowell trying to figure out who wants third. Give it to that 21 machine. So everyone here quickly trying to get themselves sorted. Fuel not going to be an issue here tonight. Going to be an easy one-stop race in the fuel department. Where it comes down to the strategy becomes how much fuel to put in the race car, what is the tire situation, and how is that race car feeling. Kent Beasley here trying to work over the top side of Jeff Pogo. This is a battle for the 9th position. Easily up top in that 27 as all one car around. That is second in points. Scott Simley going on around as the 33 machine will get that car back rolling here. Doesn't look like too much damage as I realize we've been playing the intro music that whole time. My bad, everyone. But 5 laps in, we get our first caution here tonight, and it is the 33 machine of Scott Simley. Let's take a look here, see what happened to Simley here off of turn number 2. As Simley just gets that back end to step on around. And man, Anthony Calatoni just going to tag the 33 machine into the left rear, and the rest of the field doing a great job avoiding that car because that could have been big. I know a lot of drivers using some rear brake here in these cars to try and get them woed on up and rotated in the corner, but it looks like just going to be pretty much a 2-car incident. We'll take a look here at the 84 of Calatoni, see about that damage on the nose of that race car. You can definitely see a little bit there on, let's say, the left front of the bumper there. You can see right below the headlight, going to have a little bit of damage for that 84 machine, but we'll have to see how much that affects. Luckily, Bristol Aero doesn't matter too much when it comes to this racetrack. So, but usually when it comes to Bristol, you know, cautions are in the conversation pretty heavily. That's because this track, short track racing, close quarters, gonna bring them on out. I believe with the 802 iRacing League, we average right around, you know, 7 or so cautions per race when it comes to Bristol. And here tonight, this falling right into that trend. First caution coming out in these first 10 laps here in this one. Luckily for most of the field here, this caution early on here, not going to be a big one. Only 2 cars with some damage as we see a little bit of pit strategy here. Tyler Humphrey down on pit road. Tim Rogers having some sort of issues. Rogers not in the race currently, so we'll see if the 80 machine can get back out on the speedway. But here we go. We get ready to rock and roll once again as it's going to be Ritter and Crosby on the front row here tonight. iRacing pace car heads off, and Ritter this time can go anytime in the box, right in the middle of it there for the 61 machine as we head back to green flag racing. Crosby way up the racetrack into turns 1 and 2. That'll open up the door now for Rob Lowell to try and take over P number 2. Another driver trying to make that bottom side work, keep some cars trapped up on the top side. Grant Humphrey trying to make his way towards the front here. And it's going to take a little bit of time for this top side to really come on in. This bottom side's going to have to rubber on up, start to lose some of that traction here But right now, topside is just going to be more distance to go around this racetrack. Going to be very tough to make it happen. As we get our second caution of the evening, and we'll try and see where it came on out. Maybe the 76 machine a little bit slow on the speedway. Besides that, don't really see anything else. So we'll keep an eye here on the 76. Of Fuqua, as he looks like the 76 just gets that back end to step on out right at the apex, right about where you're putting the most amount of wheel into this race car. Going to spin to the outside. It looks like Jamison Heath just going to tag the 76. So once again, another incident here tonight. Going to be a single car spin, just tagging one other car, as we are under our second caution flag here pretty quickly, as the 76 looks like he might make out pretty well in the damage department. Doesn't really look like too much damage on the left rear, or at least on the back end of his race car. Let's check out now the nose of the 71. Looks like Jamison going to bring that car down on pit road, and you can see crinkle in the right front fender, I should say, as well as maybe just a piece of the nose. So 71 will try and get some of that damage repaired here on that race car. So some drivers taking advantage of maybe starting on some inside lanes, or maybe trying to get some track position. Mason Hall, the 14 machine, up 5 spots into 13th. Then right behind him, Top Perot, and that 69 machine, he is up 6 spots. Another driver, Dan Holcroft, here in this 31, he is also up 6 positions as well here early on into this one. So some drivers taking advantage of some restarts early on in this one and trying to get some of that track position. As here we go, Wolfpack Racing front row on the second restart of the night. It's going to be Steve Ritter, Rob Lowell on the front row, Crosby and Hislop row number 2, then Humphrey and Calatoni in row number 3. Alrighty, here we go. iRacing pace car down on pit road, and Ritter this time restarting late in the box. Crosby almost thought about taking peek to the inside of the 61 though. No contact throughout the field though. Everyone able to make it safely through turns 1 and 2. Rob Lowell trying to find that gap in front of Crosby. Get back down on the bottom side. Looks like the 73 will let him on in, so it's going to be Ritter, Lowell, Crosby, Hislop, and then Calatoni trying to make that pass on the top side. Will do that. So Calatoni with that damage on the nose of that race car. He says, you know what? Doesn't bother me. We are going to the front. And this 84 definitely pushing hard here early in this one. Calatoni definitely on a mission to get that track position, as now he tries to work over Crosby for P number 3. Well, we can see once it gets green flag racing and lap times start getting rocking and rolling, laps quickly click on by though. We get our third caution of the evening, and here we go. The 39 machine turning on around on the racetrack here, and it looks like Tim Rogers back out on the speedway. So Rogers going to benefit from this. Can maybe try and get back on the lead lap before the end of this one. But let's take a look here. See what brought out our third caution here in these first 20 laps. So here we go. Take a look at this gray 39 machine up on the top side and already loose off of turn number 4. Just getting into the throttle a little bit too early. And then the death wobble starts to happen with these next-gen cars all down that front straightaway. And luckily, he does a great job keeping it out of harm's way, keeping it out of the way of the field there, as that could have been some big-time contact with about 10 cars still having to go around that 39, but I tell you what, Chance Griffith doing a great job controlling an out-of-control race car and keeping it out of harm's way for the most part, and it looks like he's going to be the only one to suffer damage. First caution like that here tonight, where it's only been a single car incident. A few cars here down on pit road, probably just to top off on the fuel department, maybe try and get a little bit of damage repaired on the race car as well, because that's all they need, about 20 laps, and they're good for fuel to the end of the race. Like I said, the X factor here tonight going to be when to take the tires, and does it become a 2 versus 4 tire stop, because with Bristol and the banking, this racetrack really wears out some left side tires as well, so it could be maybe a benefit. But with these race cars already being loose, you know, I could be maybe a little bit more hesitant, let's say, to taking 2 tires late in a race. Alrighty, so here we go once again. The 61 machine of Steve Ritter gonna have choice at the start finish line. Once again, he will choose the bottom side. I think that's going to be the easy choice unless it becomes very, very late in this race. I mean, you can start to see maybe a little bit of the track starting to just get a little bit darker, like right above that first seam, but still this bottom side still has a lot of grip in this concrete. Still going to be ripping this bottom side for the foreseeable future as we get ready for our third restart of the night. It's going to be Ritter and Lowell, Wolfpack Racing teammates on the front row once again. iRacing pace car heads off, and here we go. Ritter gonna get a good start. Cal Tony maybe a better start. Nowhere for him to go with the momentum, but this 84 machine gonna stick right on the back bumper of the race leaders, though. Those two will get to the bottom side in front of the 84 here, as Cal Tony still trying to make his way towards the front of this pack. Another driver doing that. We talked about the 14 machine of Mason Hall. Oh, as Jim Ott gonna go on around, and here we go. 4th caution now in the first 8th of this race, as it looks like Ott not gonna have too much damage on this one. Luckily, didn't come to a full stop here, but still gonna lose a track position. And man, a lot of damage to the front end of Mike Wolf. That thing is caved in big time right in the middle. That's, even though on a short track, you know, you start lifting up that splitter like that, damage is going to do. That's going to affect handling in a big way. And man, that nose is really pushed on. And I don't know if I've seen the nose of a next-gen car here in iRacing pushed in that far, but that thing's definitely going to require a little bit of damage repair there. That is a good shot of it there. And whew. All right, so let's take a look here, see what happened to Jim Ott as he has Nate Brooker behind him, Mason Hall to his outside. I was just about to say Mason Hall, you know, continuing to go up to the front here, and Brooker takes a peek to the inside of the 4 machine of Ott. Didn't quite get to the left rear, but I would assume that Ott had maybe at the last second the spotter call car low, but you can see Mike Wolf just having nowhere to go, gets into the back of the 4 machine, and that results in that heavy damage to the nose of that race car. So it looks like when the caution flag fell, it looks like gonna rejoin about the 13th position. That's because his car didn't come to a complete stop, so wherever iRacing felt he was in position wise as he's sliding, you know, he gets to get back in that spot. So gonna have, you know, a little bit hotter tires than the cars around him, but not gonna lose the entire track position, as looks like Mike Wolf gonna be able to continue in the race. He's rolling back off of pit road here, so that is good to see that contact wasn't a night ender there. It looks like Jason Harrison looks like he is going to have some pretty extensive damage on the left front. Same with Jameson Heath. He still has that damage on the right front there of the 71 machine. So here we go once again. Lights are out. And as old Darrell Waltrip once said, man, cautions breed cautions. And that is the case early on here in this one. Now up to our fourth restart of the night. As once again, it's going to be the 61 and the 21. As let's see here, Calatoni looking at the race leaders. Let's see what kind of wheel spin or what kind of momentum they can run in that time. Inside lane firing off nicely as Rob Lowe, though, going to drive it in there deep up top. Going to try and get back that second position here. 21 just going to maybe graze the wall there off of turn number 2, but he'll be able to jump back in the power there, get back. Oh, John Crosby gets big time loose there. He will tag the wall, and Crosby going to get some right front damage. Oh, looks like Jim Ott maybe going to be done here tonight as well, as I'm going to have some heavy right front damage on that race car. As we'll take a look here, see what happened. We heard, some chatter on the radio here between some drivers. So let's take a look here, see what happened to Jim out here at the start of this one. As so far so good as they make their way down the back straightaway. I think it may have been off of turn number 2 here next time by, so we'll keep an eye here to the 4 machine. And oh man, yeah, once again out in a 3 wide situation gone wrong. Not the greatest camera angle as we head back to green flag racing. We may need to take a look at that once again, as that was kind of hard to see with that camera angle. But here under green flag, Steve Ritter leads the way over Rob Lowe here. Ritter, of course, leading all 36 laps so far here tonight. Here's some good battles here right around the cusp of the top 10 here. 2x2 racing as Nate Brooker, Jeff Pogo here side by side right behind them. Kip easily trying to get to the outside of the 97 machine. Then right behind them, Tyler Humphrey, Josh Parker, as well as we get now our 5th caution of the evening. Not sure where it's at out on the speedway, but we will now be slowed on down once again. And not sure where it was at, as we'll take a look here, try and see for any maybe slow race cars out there on the speedway. But yeah, I think there's maybe one car slow there on the front straightaway. We'll take a look again here, try and figure out maybe where this caution was at out on the speedway. As here we go, some smoke there. Brandon Hinton, Chris Progar may have been involved in this one. So now we got 2 cars maybe to look at here, as Chris Progar right against the fence. The back end just steps on out, and Todd Perot just able to squeak on by, but then gives the 11 a shot in the shorts. Brandon Hinton having nowhere to go will tag the 11 machine. So Chris Progar and the Motion.com number 11 going to be involved here in this 5th caution. So John Crosby, we saw him get a piece of the wall there under that last green flag run. He will come into pit road, probably try and get some of that damage repaired. Same with the 5, the 11, the 31 down as well. So pit road busy, but mostly busy to try and repair some race cars of some drivers finding themselves in an incident here early on in this one. So we are already up to our 5th caution here tonight at Bristol, as we get the lights to go on out around the raceway as we get the 1 to go signal. So next time by, we are going back green flag racing, but it's still been the Steve Ritter show has led all 42 laps to kick off here tonight out in front. Rob Lowell has driven on up to second, Anthony Calatoni to third, Hislop still hanging on to fourth, same with Grant Humphrey in fifth. The iRacing pace car here heads back down on pit road, and Steve Ritter once again, good restart for the front row. They will get off cleanly here as they will go into turn number 1 side by side. Rob Lowell up against the fence, into the fence now for the 21 machine. He will lose out on second and maybe more as the 92 will try and get on by, as Rob Lowell now trying to put his head back down, try and get back some of that track position. Right behind him though, his Wolfpack Racing teammate, the 6 machine of Johnny Barker there sits as well. As Barker, he is making his way up through the field. Barker up now 9 positions from where he started. So the 6 machine trying to find some speed up on the top side, and that top side will start to come in more and more throughout this race. The Josh Parker update here in the 26 machine. Remember, he started 25th here in this one, while Parker already up inside of this top 10 here tonight. He has driven on up into 8th, trying to get around Jeff Pogo for 7th, but those guys trying to throw in a fight here as Pogo to the inside of Grant Humphrey, with now the 6 and 21 side by side. Those will now single file on out as Johnny Barker got on the binders there pretty hard to get back down to the bottom side. As here we go, another caution out on the speedway, this time for the 7 machine of Tyler Humphrey. So Tyler Humphrey here going for a ride on the front straightaway. It looks like, once again, that car surprisingly not too damaged. So we'll take a look here, see what happened to Tyler Humphrey just outside of the top 10 here off of turn number 4. And it looks like, once again, the back end just stepping out on the 7 machine will take it to a big slide down the front straightaway. And just like Bristol, this track is self-cleaning track. Wrecks are going to go down to the bottom side, that inside wall. And I tell you what, Tyler Humphrey doing a great job locking on up and keeping that car from getting any damage. So some good wreck avoidance there by the 7 machine. So a quarter of the way here through this one tonight, and on pace for maybe a record-setting amount of cautions here for a Bristol race. I mean, already into our 6th caution here on lap number 50. The most ever cautions we have seen at Bristol. Well, that was 13 of them twice. In both those races, the lap count was only 180. Here tonight, of course, we have an extra 20 compared to that. But yeah, record is 13 cautions at a Bristol event here with the 802 Winston Cup Series. And so far here tonight, we are up to 6. So one more, and we are already be halfway there to that mark. I tell you what, it is too funny. I'm hearing drivers with the same sentiment there over the kind of communications as we were just talking about it, and hearing it now in the chat as drivers chat about that. So that's pretty hilarious to see. But yeah, we just sounds like the drivers were informed that the record was 13. So now drivers definitely keeping that in their mind as well. As here we go, 6th restart already of the night, and this time a different front row, as it's once again going to be Steve Ritter bringing us back to green, but Anthony Calatoni now starting on the outside of the front row. iRacing pace car man down on pit road aggressively. I saw a little bit of tire smoke there from the pace car, but we go back green flag racing here. Wow, what a start by Calatoni. He will have an advantage over Steve Ritter down the back straightaway. Ritter can't let the 84 machine get clear, does not, at least through 3 and 4, but at the start finish line, new race leader Anthony Calatoni gonna pick up a bonus point for a lap led as Rob Lowe way up the racetrack. The back end just stepping out of that race car, had to chase that race car up the banking. I think got a piece of the wall, but big moment there for Rob Lowe, just overstepping the limit of the race car, and of course then paying the price, gonna fall back to about 10th position. But still battle for the race lead. Now Calatoni way up the racetrack as well. So I think Calatoni now may have gotten into turn number 3 there a little bit too hot. He will slide back now to second as Steve Ritter back to the point here at Bristol. Josh Parker, one of those drivers, now jumping to the top side as he sees most of the fellow competitors to the bottom. Parker now trying to get inside of this top 5. If he completes a pass on Johnny Barker, he will in fact be inside of this top 5 already here tonight at Bristol. He will get clear of Barker. Now here comes Jeff Pogo as well. So Pogo gets big time sideways, and with that sidewaysness, able to get down to the bottom side in a hurry as woohoo! Gray heads up driving there by the 6 and the 27, knowing to kind of check on up as things, like I said, happen quickly here tonight at Bristol. Gonna very limited reaction time, and whether to Rex or even kind of maybe to the car stepping on out. And kind of the other X factor, let's ride on board with Scott Simley just to kind of take a peek at it. Vision, not the greatest either through the banking. Of course, with this here, we can see, you know, a nice kind of view. Cockpit will give a better angle. As you see, even through the corner, you can't really see the kind of straightaway walls. So it gets very, you know, sensitive to reaction times, because even the sight is limited when we come to Bristol. As Simley, you can see here, lap times falling off about half a second or so, but lap times, you know, flattening on out as well. So new tires, you know, going to make a big difference for, you know, a few laps, let's say, but they do level on off and kind of start to even on out. Josh Parker now able to get to the outside of Grant Humphrey for the 4th position. So Josh Parker continuing to work his way up to the front of the field there. And I tell you what, very close quarters racing there off of turn number 4, but Parker able to put that power down just a little bit sooner than Grant Humphrey, able to get the pass done there. But everyone following one another on the bottom side. Pretty much, if you want to get a pass done, either got to crack out the old chrome horn from back in the day, give the driver a little nudge. The other way, of course, is put the pedal to the metal, say, hey, you know what, we got to burn up some stuff and go to the top side, as we see Calatoni do just that once again for the race lead, as Anthony Calatoni back to the point. As, man, I tell you what, I don't know, Steve Ritter, he was very slow down the front straightaway. Not sure if he has a kind of lap time pace in mind, or if he knows something I don't, but he has definitely backed up the pace a little bit, about 0.2 of a second off from Calatoni, you know, this last lap. As, man, Hislop gets a big moment there off of turn number 2, almost door checks to 61, but I tell you what, Hislop doing a great job. As, oh man, big moment there for Josh Parker, as Parker tries to really save that race car. He will check up the bottom side in a hurry, and if you got good reaction times like we see Nate Brooker jump to the high side, you can definitely take advantage of other drivers' mistakes. And that's kind of the final way to get around someone at Bristol, is wait for a mistake, and then once you see that, definitely capitalize up on that. So Scott Simley, after an early spin here tonight at Bristol, he has driven his way back inside of the top 10, as he will try and get that is 9th position away there from Grant Humphrey. Up towards the front though, Jeff Pogo trying to work over James Hislop for second. Both those cars have run down Anthony Calatoni as well. So here we go. Jeff Pogo, one of those drivers with a really good average finish when it comes to Bristol. I know Pogo, not the biggest fan of Bristol, but man, when it comes to this racetrack, an average finish, you know, of 3, just like Steve Ritter, both those cars inside of this top 5 as we start to get closer and closer to this halfway point here tonight at Bristol. So Pogo and Hislop still side by side. Not anymore. Jeff Pogo now to the rear bumper of Anthony Calatoni. Not sure if Pogo meant to get to the bumper or just clear himself, but Jeff Pogo definitely on a mission now to the inside. Battle for the race lead, but Calatoni able to get on that loud pedal just that little bit better. He will hang on to the race lead for the time being. And you can see a little bit of different driving styles. You know, Calatoni a little bit higher up in the racetrack. That tells me a few things. His car could be a little bit tighter, searching for a little bit cooler track on those right side tires. Another big indicator. It tells me he's probably running a little bit higher brake buys, can be a little bit more aggressive on the brakes, whereas Jeff Pogo entering a little bit lower. He is trying to get that car rotated as much as possible, and that can be really nicely done when it comes to the brake buys. But with that lower brake buys, just like that, you can start to heat up that right rear tire just on corner entry, not even realize it. Then when you need it for a good corner exit, let's say, you can get a little bit of tire spinning. We saw that there from Pogo, just slide up that right rear just slightly and lose second there to the 92 machine as James Hislop. He has put together a pretty good run here. As all, it looks like trouble here for Jim Ott, as Ott's, man, struggles at Bristol here tonight continue, as the 4 machine will get that thing rocking and rolling. Once again, no caution out for this one, but man, Jim Ott gets close to going 1 lap down as the leader is already in 3 and 4. Of course, Ott just at the start finish line. As here we go, battle for the race lead once again. Now here comes the 92. What does Hislop have left up his sleeve for the race lead here? Dead even down the back straightaway. The 92 able to drive it in there deeper, able to go the shorter distance through the corner and off of turn number 4. Wow, a good move there. James Hislop to the point here tonight at Bristol, new race leader. And of course, James, you know, had a streak of some pretty good finishes, you know, right before kind of the break and the road course here this season. Of course, the 92 already visiting victory lane once. That coming race number 9 at Nashville Super Speedway. So another concrete track, and man, I know there's a few, you know, kind of concrete kings when we think of the 802 iRacing League. Well, Hislop may be adding his name into that book. The other guys that I think really good at concrete, well, they're also right towards the front here. Second and third, Calatoni and Jeff Pogo. Then right behind them, Johnny Barker, Josh Parker, side by side here. Man, and I tell you what, this 92 machine, he has found a new gear out in front. Last couple of times by better than a tenth, if not more than the rest of the field. So James Hislop really taking advantage of being out in front. He is really turning it on up. Jeff Pogo now around Calatoni for third. Calatoni starting to fade a little bit in the lap time department. Last time by 2/10 off of most of the cars around him. So we got to wonder, is the 84 starting to feel the effects of pushing hard early to get that track position, or is he maybe feeling the effects? Remember, has that damage on the left front of this race car, and we know, especially on iRacing, how sensitive these car models are when it comes to damage. Similarly able to get to the right rear quarter panel of Calatoni, able to get to the top side, but as this run continues to develop, the marbles up on the top side starting to get more and more. They, of course, get cleaned on off when there is a caution, but with now about almost 40 laps or so done under green flag conditions as, oh, trouble, Wolfpack Racing involved in this one. Rob Lowell, Steve Ritter going on around, and Mason Hall will tag on in here late. As one car also on around the 39 machine, a Chance Griffith will go on around, but man, that started there with the 61 machine of Steve Ritter going on around, and man, Ritter's night going bad to worse as he can't even get that thing righted out of, a short track here in time to stay on the lead lap. So 61 gonna also be one lap down. So let's take a look here and see what happened to Steve Ritter off of turn number 2. So Johnny Barker up in those marbles like I was just talking about, and he is very slow. You see the flames out of the exhaust trying to get on out of it, and just 4 wide racing gone wrong as 3 Wolfpack Racing cars up on the top side, and just you can't go 4 wide here at Bristol. And then that of course spins the 61 machine down back onto the racetrack, and kind of the one kind of rare instance where the track did not clean itself, and Mason Hall going to get a little bit of damage here in this one as it's a busy pit road here in this one as James Hisloff leads the field down to pit road. So of course, one long pit road here tonight, so have to go in on turn number 2, come off on turn number 1 as here we go. Let's see where everyone shakes on out here off of pit road. It's going to be the 92. Then man, Jeff Pogo, Josh Parker trading some paint to try and be the second off of pit road. It will be Josh Parker beating out Jeff Pogo, then Cal Tony and Nate Brooker. Wow, how about that? And look at this, a little bit of strategy as well. Tyler Humphrey last down on pit road on lap 50, Mike Wolf on 40. So they will be on old tires on the front row here for our 7th restart of the night. Rest of the field going to have 4 fresh virtual Goodyear tires on their race cars. As lights are on out on the iRacing pace car, we are going green. Next time by, Tyler Humphrey going to elect the outside lane here in this one. As it looks like, man, that was really weird. And the drivers even saw that too. My tower wasn't actually wrong. They, for some reason, threw the green flag down the back straightaway. So I think what affected that were those cars coming off of pit road and mistimed the green flag for the field there. So hopefully everything's set to go, but looks like we might have to run an entire another kind of caution length, let's say, unless if we advance the caution to about 1 or 2 to go. But yeah, that's the trouble with Bristol too, is things happen quick even under caution. Cars coming out on pit road trying to blend on in or let the field on by, and it looks like maybe one of those just a little mistimed, having the caution come out at a weird time. So that is why we are under extended caution here in this one, trying to get everything sorted, have race control happy with the lineup here before we turn them back on loose. While we got a little bit of time, let's see what happened under green flag to the 4 machine of Jim Ott. Of course, this did not bring out a caution as Ott spun below the yellow line here and stayed off the racing surface. But once again, another car exiting low off of turn number 4 and just having those back tires step on out. So it seems like exiting low, especially off of turn number 4, there is a little bit of a bump and kind of a hump in the racetrack. And yeah, it seems like you get that thing wrong, load this car just right, and man, you are just sent on a ride. So still under the caution flag here. Lights are still on out here in this one. So we will see when we get the 1 to go signal. Besides this, what else did we I know a lot happening here tonight in this one, and I say thanks again to everyone tuning on in here live. Of course, this is the 802 Winston Cup Series here for race number 12 of 20 on the schedule. Of course, here tonight, the Gladiator 200 at Bristol under our 8th caution. And kind of to give everyone a big picture here, when it comes to the points, Josh Parker leads the way in points. Second is Scott Simley, Johnny Barker quietly climbing up the ranks. He is now third in points. James Hislop, he seems like he has a rocket ship here tonight. He comes in fourth in points. Grant Humphrey fifth. John Crosby sixth in points. Steve Ritter seventh in points. Cal Tony eighth. Tyler Humphrey ninth. And Jim Ott in 10th when it comes to the points. So here we go, folks. Lights are out once again right before the halfway point, and it's going to be old tires on the front row. Tyler Humphrey in the 7 machine will be leading us to the restart zone. Mike Wolf, the other driver, taking a gamble on the tires as here we go. Tyler Humphrey in the restart zone. We will fire on off. No tire spin up in front as we head back to green flag racing. Josh Parker, though, going to be able to carry the momentum with those new tires up on the top lane. Now shoot it back down to the bottom here. Can Josh Parker pick back up his winning ways? Well, here we go. He will go try and get this race lead, but Tyler Humphrey doing a great job trying to hang on to this top side, and we'll find out here as this time by at the start finish line. It's going to be cross flags halfway home, and who was it at the time of caution? Was it Parker or Humphrey? As it looks like it might be Josh Parker, and oh no, this car looking good here at Bristol. Definitely very sporty, kind of retro looking, but it looks like Todd Pereiro going to be involved here in this 9th caution of the evening. So let's take a look here, see what happened to the 69 off of turn number 4, it looks like. As, oh man, look at that. Right below them, Steve Ritter gets big time loose in the 61 there. And then still under the green. And then, oh, Todd Pereiro just having the back end step out quickly right at the apex. And we've seen this a few times when it comes to cold tires. And now we see it under the race there. Just cold tires, a little bit too much of center speed when you have the car the loaded the most in these corners, most wheel usually in the race car. These things just snap on around in cold tires. And that's exactly there what happened to the 69, as it looks like the lucky dog here in this one. Steve Ritter, after that spin with contact and getting trapped a lap down, Steve Ritter back on the lead lap. So he is one of those drivers with that low average finish. He has his work cut out for him here in the second half of this one. As yeah, it was Josh Parker there leading at the cross flags here. So now officially over halfway done here tonight at Bristol. And now we are up to our 9th caution here of the evening when it comes to the Winston Cup Series. Like I said, we've had 9 last season. Season number 6, Mike Kelly visited victory lane in the most recent time. They had 9 cautions last season. Well, here tonight we will tie now last season here on lap 104, but no Mike Kelly in the field. And like I said, we've had 0 repeat winners when it comes to Bristol. And you know, some drivers that could be a repeat winner: Rob Lowell, Jeff Pogo. And I think that's actually it when it comes to drivers that could repeat. So here we go. Josh Parker going to elect the outside lane here. So I'll put Tyler Humphrey on those older tires on the inside lane as the iRacing pace car here heads down pit road, and the 26 will fire on off. He will get a good start. Contact here. Hislop will go on around, and it looks like Cal Tony going to be involved, and it looks like more cars going to get tagged on in. And that just started with some wheel spin. And I think starting with the 92 machine, getting some wheel spin on this 9th restart. And that's where it gets tricky, especially here at Bristol. You start to drive off the banking and these tires fire on off quickly, and that's what happened there. As let's take a look here far on out as the 92 of James Hisloff gonna go reacting to Josh Parker, and I think just kind of goose it a little bit too much. That back end, of course, starting to come on around, and Cal Tony just absolutely blindsided, not seeing that car come on down. Kip Beasley gonna have some damage. Same with Mike Wolf, as all those cars will go on by, as Cal Tony gonna go for another full spin, let's say, but looks like most of the field actually gonna be able to get on around and not get too much damage, let's say, all things considered, because man, a wreck like that right on a restart, everyone bunched down up, that's where you get the big ones at Bristol, and luckily that one not being the case. It looks like Tim Rogers going to get yet another one of those laps down. Remember, Rogers having connection issues here early in this one. Well, he made it back out on track, and Rogers could eventually have a shot at trying to grab a decent finish on the Sunday nights here. Rogers was pretty pumped on up here earlier this week, as he actually had a top 10 finish with the Thursday night 802 Elite Series race at Iowa. That was a pretty good race there. And of course, happening over on the Freaky Fast side of things when it comes to the broadcast. But I tell you what, Tyler Humphrey, even though, 40 lap older tires, he is still hanging on inside of this top 5 as a 7 machine, trying to hope for as many cautions as we can, get those newer tires to continue to heat cycle. That is only going to help the 7 machine, as this gamble may work out well here for the 7 of Tyler Humphrey, as it looks like Josh Parker once again going to choose the outside lane, as once again we will re-rack, restack the field and get ready to try and get back to some green flag racing, as now we are into double-digit cautions here tonight. As here we go for the 10th restart of the night. Josh Parker going to choose the outside lane, Tyler Humphrey going to try and restart on the bottom side this time. Field down and away. No wheel spin from anyone that I saw there, as Mike Wolf now going to take over P number 2. So Wolf got some more front end damage on that 20 machine. Well, I tell you what, that thing's still running halfway decent. He now takes over second as Jeff Pogo trapped on that bottom side as he sees cars with tires going around up top. He will try and look for a gap here as a 7 machine and Tyler Humphrey going to get a shot from the 97. Man, he was pushed so hard he even got Mike Wolf there in 3 and 4. So Pogo's trying to get to the top side at all costs. So one car big time sideways. That is the 48 machine of Grant Humphrey. And it looks like Humphrey gonna tag Kip Beasley. Jeff Pogo gonna get the wall. And Pogo's gonna get Simley as well. Wow. A lot happening there to bring out the 11th caution there of the evening. But a lot of cars going to have some damage here in this one, and Kip Beasley probably going to have the most of the damage when it comes to this one, as it looks like Grant Humphrey may have gotten loose kind of to get into turn number 4. Yes, he does. He'll go on a big time slide, and then just like we saw, a few cautions ago when they're 4 wide, well, this time only 3 wide, but that's tough to do as Grant Humphrey tries to keep that car as high as he can. Bounces off the wall just a little bit, but easily into the side there. And then Grant Humphrey just tagging Jeff Pogo in the right rear. And that's what sends the 97 on a huge slide. Man, big hit there to the nose of the 81. As well as, I think no one else gets easily in that one. So it looks like the 11th caution now underway, and it looks like, yeah, not sure why that was. Mason Hall may have, I know they don't allow if you get a contact point, so maybe on the stack up, Mason Hall maybe got hit, or maybe hit someone else in the stack up, with Hislop, of course, turning Calatoni and the whole field trying to avoid them. So that would be my only guess, is somewhere Mason maybe got an incident point for the last one. Well, luckily for Mason, we got a caution right away once again, and this time by Mason Hall was the lucky dog. So move the 14 machine back on into the lead lap here tonight. So it looks like only 2 cars still retired from the race of the 27 that, of course, did take the green flag. That being James Hislop and Jason Ayerson. And, of course, Hislop, top 5 when it comes to the points. So this will, of course, be a big hit to the points when it comes to the 92 machine, as it looks like he will settle for a 26th place finish. As here we go, once again, we get ready for another restart. As, man, it looks like Josh Parker gonna once again choose the outside lane, but look at this, Nate Brooker on the inside of the front row, Rob Lowell into row number 2, as here we go. Josh Parker gonna go early in the box, man, big time stack up on the bottom side there, and we'll have to see about that, as that caused a huge stack up when it comes to that inside lane and some damage maybe, and I know guys not happy about that one. But we are under the green flag conditions here. Josh Parker already back out to almost a half-second advantage over Nate Brooker. Brooker, of course, trying to nurse that car on around. I think a lot of cars now having this nose damage. I think there's less cars without maybe some nose damage. Tyler Humphrey still hanging on inside of this top 10 with those older tires. I believe even making the top 5. He is hanging on at 3rd. Rob Lowell, of course, back up into 4th. And Grant Humphrey, he started in 5th. He has been in the hunt in this top 5 all night long. Well, he's there as well. Dylan Hinton, we saw the big time contact to the nose of this 81. Well, it seems like that has not affected his race car too much. He is up 20 positions from where he started, as Dylan Hinton trying to get into the top 5 here, but looks like Jeff Pogo with that really wounded race car. While Pogo is still running halfway decent lap times, he is running in 6th. A little bit deeper in the field here, we take a look here at the Good Wrench number 30 machine. This is Arabia Caton, of course, off a top 10 finish a few weeks ago when it comes to Mount Panorama. He is hanging on to the top 20 here currently. Bill Jamison Heath there sneaking on by there in that 71 machine. The car is still slicing and dicing here, as here we take a look at a battle inside of the top 10. Chris Progar, the 11 machine, another driver involved in a caution earlier in this one. Oh, one car big time sideways into the inside wall hard. That looks like the 39 machine, the 31 of Dan Holcroft gonna make heavy contact with that inside wall. Looks like Holcroft's night gonna come to an end here on lap 125. Jeff Pogo, big time sideways. Pogo, another driver into the wall. I was just going to say, he was trying to set up Grant Humphrey there, and that thing just steps on out, though we will get a caution here. So that's maybe what Pogo needed to try and get some of that damage repaired, because, man, I don't think there's a clean corner now on that 97 machine. Looks like Jim Ott's, man, no good. Bad, horrible night continues here in this one, as Jim Ott, Johnny Barker gonna make contact down the front straightaway. And this is, big time playoff, or I should say points, as both these guys inside of the top 10 in points, and these guys contact with one another. Kind of tough to see right there as what kind of happened, let's say. As maybe this will paint a better picture just off of turn number 4. And I mean, man, Johnny Barker's it looks like he is pretty close to the fence. I mean, pretty much inches off. And I know Jim Ott's trying to get everything he can, you know, drive back up through the field with a damaged race car. But I think that was just, you know, too close of a call for that sort of racing at this time. And of course, you know, and then ends up with, of course, some more damage to both of those race cars and a little bit of kind of split strategy, as this will probably be the last time we see Scott Simley down on pit road, Jeff Pogo, John Crosby all down as well. We have 11 cars staying out on the racetrack. Everyone else down on pit road, probably get some damage repaired, maybe take that, or at least another one of those set of tires, as most drivers, I believe, have two more sets, I should say, over the wall to be used if needed. Alrighty, so up to our 12th caution. Remember, folks, if we get above 13 cautions, we are setting a new record with the caution counter here tonight. So we'll see if these drivers have it in them. I mean, 70 laps still here to go, but we saw them rip off, you know, about a 50 lap run there right after lap 50 itself. So it could definitely be done with this group, and we'll find out here. Once again, it's going to be Parker and Brooker on the front row. Parker once again going to choose this inside lane, and I tell you what, if everything goes good here on the start, I say we head back. Maybe, oh, it's contact here as trouble on a restart. Here is the big one at Bristol. So 13th caution right away, and it started maybe with the 48 machine. Not sure if Grant Humphrey got some wheel spin or if he got some help, but here we go. We'll take a look here off of turn number 4 on the restart. And once again, that second car in the outside lane just getting that back end to step on out. Chris Proger having no time to react to a sideways 48 machine. Steve Ritter gonna get some damage as well. And then of course, as the self-cleaning track starts to work, more and more cars involved on the bottom side. Chance Griffith, Jeff Pogo, Kip Easley, and I think maybe even Jim Ott might have got a little bit of damage as well on the 4 machine. So like I said, definitely the first big one of the night. 5+ cars involved in this one, as now we are up to caution number 13, now tying the most here at Bristol. But we have seen that, you know, twice, so you know it's kind of on par for a Bristol race. We of course saw that season number 2, season number 4, and of course now here currently under season number 7, we are now up to 13 of them here. But Josh Parker out in front, he is looking to, you know, once again add yet another win on the season. Remember, Josh Parker leading the points, leading the win column. He has 6 wins already this season. Jim Ott has 2. Then it is Cal, Tony, Hislop, and Pogo, all the other drivers visiting pit road. But it has been a season to remember when it comes to the 26 team. And here tonight at Bristol, he is trying to do that once again. Alrighty, folks, I think this time we're going to try and sprinkle some luck in it, and I'm going to do a little turn 3, turn it up here for a restart at Bristol. Kind of ride on board with Tyler Humphrey here on the restart, and then of course go to some speed shots here at Bristol. So we're going to use some good juju here and get a nice long run here with a little turn 3, turn it up here tonight at Bristol here for the 13th restart of the night. Well, we gave it the old college try, trying to hope that maybe the turning up would do the trick, but we now fall under caution for the 14th time here tonight. And it looks like this one may involve that good wrench 30 machine of Caton here. So we'll see what happened going through 1 and 2 as Mason Hall right on the back bumper. Not sure if he gave Caton some help there, but definitely that 30 machine going on around and doing a great job kind of keeping that thing a nice easy spin, locking them up and bringing them to a stop before the pit barrel. So nice job keeping that car in one piece. One of the kind of few cars with not too much damage is this 30 machine, and still even being involved now directly in a caution. Looks like still no damage for the 30, so a good piece of driving there by him. So yeah, currently under our record setting here caution of the evening. We are up to 13 of them. Dan Holcroft looks like he is the lucky dog here for the 31. So Holcroft, even after getting the wall, he was able to get back out on the speedway here tonight. So yeah, when it comes to the kind of the point standings, I'd say when we look at the point totals, currently Josh Parker leading the points with 373, then Scott Simley second, 31 points back with 342. So like I said, he is within a race points distance of Josh Parker. Johnny Barker sits 49 back. In theory, could be a race in total if Parker, of course, has a great race and could score max points, you know, laps led, most laps led, all that good stuff. So, I mean, we still got to go back to, you know, 10th Jim Ott. He is, you know, less than 100 points back. So, top 10 in points separated by less than 100 points. So, still it is anyone's championship, though. Josh Parker looking to add yet another win to the column, as he will once again lead us back to the green flag. Tyler Humphrey back to the front row as the 7 machine will lead the inside lane here. Back to green flag here tonight. iRacing pace car heads down pit road, and here we go. We go back to some green flag racing at Bristol. Rob Lowell drives it in there deep with those fresher tires up on the top side. The 21 machine will bring it up now to second. We'll see if he can run down Josh Parker for this race lead. Tyler Humphrey now under fire from Nate Brooker for that third position. Brooker in that 00 trying to make that bottom side work. Humphrey trying to keep the momentum up in that second lane. And like I said, that second lane going to be pretty good from here on out, as we do have a little bit of storms coming on through my neck of the woods here. So you might see a little interest in and out here, but we'll hopefully stay with the race, man. Last time by Josh Parker, best lap of anyone here on the evening, as, oh, we get trouble here. Jeff Pogo involved. Dylan Hinton stopped as well. So 15th caution of the evening, and we'll take a look here, see what happened to bring it on out. So here we go, going down the back straightaway. We'll keep an eye here, maybe on the 97 of Jeff Pogo, see where maybe this starts. And it looks like Pogo just has that back end step on out, right rear hooks his teammate of Jim Ott. Then Jamison Heath trying to avoid. He gets that car sideways, and Grant Humphrey will tag the inside wall here, as everyone else just trying to go through. The 81 will get it. Man, I tell you what, Tim Rogers just able to squeak on through. Let's ride on board here with Rogers, because, man, that had to be a pretty close call for the 80 machine multiple times here. As you can see, cars spinning every which way here, trying to figure out where they're going, where they're not, and wow. A good piece of driving there by Rogers to snake his way through that. But Jeff Pogo going to have extensive damage now on the 97. Jim Ott going to be the same story for the 4 as well. So, whew. So now under our 15th caution here of the evening, and I'm kind of curious now. I'm going to go look at maybe all of the Winston Cup Series and see what maybe leads the way for most ever cautions during one of these events. And it looks like it may have been another short track, and that being the other half mile on the NASCAR schedule, Old Martinsville Speedway. They went there once in season number 2 with the 802 Winston Cup Series, and it looks like they had 20 cautions there. So I think that explains maybe the one and done visit to Martinsville. But here tonight at Bristol, we're now 5 cautions away from maybe the record when it comes to this series. And I tell you what, if you're a fan of action-packed racing, short track drama, there has been no shortage of that here tonight as Josh Parker gets away, but big time wheel spin as Nate Brooker goes on around and more cars collide as, oh man, they still are getting one another. Jamison Heath going around late in the 71, and it is calamity on the front straightaway. That's starting with some wheel spin from the 00. So let's take a look here. Looking far on out in the camera as Nate Brooker, once again, that second car on the outside front row, second car in line on the outside, I should say, getting wheel spin there. And yeah, I tell you what, no cars hit Brooker big time, but we can see the calamity having going on, I should say, after, as Steve Ritter, you know, kind of deeper in this field. Let's take a look here from let's take a look here one more time at that. Sorry about that, folks. Trying to find the right driver here on the replay. But we'll take a look, see what Steve Ritter, he just had Brooker kind of come to a stop there and got the right rear, and you can see the checkup on the top side as well. As yeah, it's everyone trying to get themselves back rolling as quickly as they can because they know that pace car comes out quick. Don't want to get trapped a lap down late in this one. But now with under 50 laps to go, it's a shootout to the end. But it's going to be a race of attrition, and that is the case here tonight under 16 cautions. You can see it's starting to get dark here at Bristol. The headlights starting to illuminate the racetrack here at Bristol. So it's only going to be a short amount of time before we click on the overhead lights and could have a under the lights finish here at Bristol. Yeah, I tell you what, Brandon, I'm sure you're bumming big time that the one machine wasn't out here. I tell you what, you know, in real life, these cars, $400,000 a pop, and I have a feeling a lot of money being spent in the virtual race car world here at Bristol. But and that's sometimes how the dice rolls when it comes to iRacing at Bristol. You know, you can see the races that, you know, almost go green to checkered, and then you see nights like tonight where it seems like nothing can go right for the field. As here we go, 16th restart of the night. Josh Parker, Rob Lowell on the front row. Chance Griffith, the 39 machine, he has driven his way back into the top 5. He's going to restart in 4th. Josh Parker down and away, a good restart there. Rob Lowell taking it easy on the start, being mindful of the tire spin. That will work out well. He will take over that second position as Griffith, man, he had himself a great start as, oh, trouble there. Arabia Caton into the outside wall hard. Him and Johnny Barker going to make contact there off of turn number 2. We stay under the green flag conditions here. Looks like the 30 machine able to mostly keep pace here, but that damage probably definitely affecting the handling of that race car here in this one. Scott Simley trying to rebound, pick up whatever points he can get in this 33 machine, as Simley now going to go to this inside lane. He can see his points rival Josh Parker out in front leading this race. He's got to hope he can get whatever he can. Last time by, best lap of the night by anyone out on track. Josh Parker is turning up the wick, and he's doing it late in this one. He is stretching out the race lead now, almost a second advantage over now Rob Lowell. Anthony Calatoni, one of those concrete aces here when it comes to the 802 iRacing League. He now sits in the third position. Chance Griffith sitting in fourth, and John Crosby rounding out the top five as trouble here. Jeff Pogo on around. Todd Perot will go for a big slide down the back straightaway. He will keep that car under control, bring it to a safe stop here, and try and get that thing whipped on around here. Will do just that as he just tags Jeff Pogo as the 97 machine going on around. Let's take a look here, see what happened to Pogo in turns 1 and 2, and yeah, just got up into kind of the loose stuff, the really dark stuff up maybe near the marbles. Definitely got a piece of the wall, and I think the wall hit is what ultimately, you know, turned that car on around, and maybe trying to get just a little bit too much out of a damaged race car, and that's going to happen here at Bristol. So under our 17th caution here, going to be a 2-car incident, but a single car spin. As now we go from a 50-lap shootout now inside of a 40-lap shootout left here at Bristol. As we start to come to a close here tonight, appreciate all the interaction out here in the YouTube chat land. See you guys all being engaged out there with even some of those emojis. That's awesome to see you. We appreciate everyone there. Also, all you guys, you know, chatting on up. Tony, I know you're the big Mason Hall supporter. To give you a Mason Hall update, inside of the top 10, the 14 machine looks like going to restart about the 9th position here on this one. So Mason Hall keeping that wounded race car out here in for the long haul, and with that, he's inside the top 10 here once again in yet another 802 iRacing race. So here we go. Once again, we will re-rack, restack the field, and get ready to get back to some green flag racing. Once again, Josh Parker in control on the top side. He has been the fastest car, you know, the last 10, 15 laps. I don't know if anyone's going to touch him without a big mistake from the 26. Rob Lowell going to restart on the inside lane. Chance Griffith, he has visited, I almost want to feel like every single wall here tonight. Been involved in a lot. Well, he has rebounded inside the top 5. And how about this, Anthony Calatoni, once again, showing off how good that 84 machine is on the concrete. He's going to restart inside of row number 2. Field will fire on off once again, and once again another good restart by the field. No big time tire spin in that one, as the field will make their way through turns 1 and 2. Rob Lowell going to catch a piece of the wall there off of turn number 2. That'll open up the door for Anthony Calatoni. Those two going to go side by side for second. Right behind them, John Crosby. That 73 machine on a mission once again. Can Crosby get around Griffith? We'll find out here. And how about this, Steve Ritter? One of those drivers. Average finish when it comes to Bristol, 3.0. Well, he's the first car from the outside looking in of the top 5. He is looking to pick up some more spots here late in this one. Looks like maybe one car, a little bit of connection issues here. The 71 machine of Jamison Heath there. Big time blinking. Looks like now under control here. So that is good to see. Hopefully that calms on down. It's always a heartbreak to see, you know, you fall out of a race late in it just because of connection issues. But that battle for second, far from over. Calatoni putting a lot of pressure on Rob Lowell and really sniffing that left rear quarter panel. Is right behind them. Still Crosby and Griffith side by side. Let's ride on board with the 39. Looking on back to John Crosby here as he tries to hold off the 73 machine late at Bristol. So Chance Griffith able to hold on for the time being as that battle kind of cools on off for a little bit of time. Rob Wool may have gotten the outside wall as we rode on board with the 39. Looks like the 21 machine going to have some heavy right front damage here, and the pace definitely falling off a cliff for the 21. Can he hang on for 30 more laps here at Bristol with that damage and hang on here? And I tell you what, Tony, that's awesome to hear. That relationship there. And hey, out here in the G920, man, that's awesome to see. And I always like to say, you know, you don't have to have the super expensive crazy sim stuff, especially to go out and have fun, though. I tell you what, if he does upgrade, he needs to maybe give his sim setup to you, get you out here turning some laps. Looks like with that damage, Mason Hall just trying to hang on to the bottom side of the racetrack. Looks like he might lose a few spots under the screen flag run. It looks like maybe Jamison Heath and Johnny Barker for the time being. Tim Rogers going on around, but Rogers, of course, multiple laps down. Cal Tony, big moment right there off of turn number 2. He gets that thing sideways. And Cal Tony, I know he's a driver, not afraid to let that right rear hang out in these next-gen cars, but it is a fine line to do that lap after lap and, you know, be there to see the checkered flag. But he is one of those drivers not afraid to do just that as he tries to run down Josh Parker. Parker with about a 1.4 second advantage over the rest of the field here. Wrecking here off of turn number 2 down the back straightaway, and it is the 73 machine of John Crosby bringing out our 18th caution here tonight. Just as we get into the countdown clock, inside of 25 to go, we will see our 18th caution as we'll take a look here, see what happened to John Crosby, as Crosby already up into the marbles there in 1 and 2, right against the fence, and then trying to come down the banking. The right rear steps on out. We've seen that story many of times here tonight, and then just losing that back end. And I tell you what, heck of a job there by the field to avoid that 73 machine sliding to a stop right there. So late race storylines here in this one. Scott Simley, he has rebounded, got most of the damage repaired on the 33. Simley going to restart in the 5th position. Steve Ritter in 6th. Evan Fuqua in the 8th. Make it 7th here in this one. So 76 machine on pace for a top 10. Mike Wolf as well had the alternate strategy. Well, he bolted up some tires a little bit later, maybe. This 20 machine inside of the top 10. Same with the 27 machine of Kip Beasley and Jamison Heath. I mean, there is not too many, you know, clean race cars inside of this top 10, but that's Bristol, baby. As laps continue to click on down here tonight at Bristol under the caution flag here, it's going to be probably about a 20 or so lap shootout to end things on off. So we'll have to see how aggressive people will be on restarts, because from here on out, even on restarts, it is go time to the end. You got to take whatever is given out in front of you. As once again, we see Josh Parker elect the outside lane for this 18th restart. Anthony Calatoni going to restart on this inside of the front row. Row number 2, Lowell and Griffith. Row number 3, Ritter and Simley. Row number 4 is Wolf and Fuqua. And then row number 5, of course, Heath and Easley. Alrighty, now we wait for the iRacing pace car to make that aggressive left-hand turn down onto pit road. And here we go. Josh Parker can go anytime inside the restart zone. We'll go in the middle. Good restart by most of the field there. No one spins their tires, and we are back underway here. Josh Parker has no advantage now over Cal Tony. What kind of pace can Cal Tony hold for Parker? That's going to be the battle for the race win here tonight. Rob Lowe going to try and hold off the rest of the field right behind them. Steve Ritter able to get around Scott Simley for that 5th position. So the 61 machine going to try and get back up to about that 3rd place. Keep that very solid average finish as old Rob Lowe, big time moment down the front straightaway, somehow hangs onto that race car. But Lowe going to fall back to 5th there as he's got to back it on down for a few laps, cool off that right rear, but a big time moment there, but he's going to get sent by Simley. Rob Lowe in the wall there, kept easily into the side, and more cars going to pile on in late. And that's one of those Bristol wrecks that happens, you know, a half a track before, and then the limited sight, the quick reaction times, and things go downhill quickly. And with this, with caution laps happening quick, Rob Lowe gonna get trapped a lap down late in this one. Man, a heartbreak for that crew. Was looking, you know, for a top 5 finish easily, and that goes away late into this one. As I think Simley, he gets tagged in the back there after getting into the 21 machine, somehow saves that race car. But of course, the big contact coming with Rob Lowe there going on around. And let's try and see what happened here. It just, Simley, I think maybe misjudged corner entry, or maybe where the 21 machine was going to be, and just, yeah, got right into the left rear of that race car. Then Rob Lowe, car out of control, trying to keep it up out of the way, and it looks like Kip Easy actually locks up the tires. That's what shoots the 27 machine up to the top side, and then everyone else just having no time to react. A little bit of bumper tag, and more cars involved in that one. I know for the past couple of restarts, you know, I've been saying it's a sprint to the finish now. It's sprint to a finish now. Well, now it's going to be a dash to the finish, as we're going to have just over a 10-lap dash to the finish of this one. If we don't get any more cautions, you know, one more caution, and I think we tie the most ever cautions in an 802 Winston Cup race. So we will see how this shakes on out, of course, with this big shakeup. Steve Ritter now up to 4th. And how about this? The 71 machine of Jamison Heath, he now goes 22 or so spots up from where he started. He's going to restart inside of the top 5 here tonight. Man, this is going to be a good one here. As like I said, going to be, looks like a 12-lap shootout here at Bristol. Josh Parker going to be the control car here in the restart zone. Does everyone get away with no tire spin? We're about to find out. iRacing pace car down on pit road. Josh Parker going to go early in the box. Parker going to miss a shift, and Anthony Calatoni going to take over the race lead. Chance Griffith, big time slide there by the 39, and he somehow hangs onto that race car, and that brings out now our 20th caution of the evening. I think that was just caused by the 39 machine, you know, sliding a little bit through that one, but we'll take a look here, see what brought it on out, as we'll take a look another time at Josh Parker, see what happened to the 29. But here's what brought out the caution, is just that little bit of contact unloaded the left side of the 39, and I'm surprised iRacing threw a caution there, as everyone was pretty much rocking and rolling. No one else was spun on around, and big time break for the 21 machine of Rob Lowe as he was able to get back now on the lead lap here late in this one. So let's ride on board here with Josh Parker, see if we can maybe hear a little bit of wheel spin or see what happened on this start. Oh, just big time wheel spin in second gear, and that's all it takes, a little bit of checkup like that up towards the front here. And with that, Josh Parker loses the race lead within 10 laps to go now. So now it becomes a tough choice for Anthony Calatoni. He saw the wheel spin up above him on the top lane, but you know, you can defend a little bit more up in that top lane. So it should be really interesting to see where Calatoni chooses, whether the inside lane here on this next restart or the outside. Of course, here tonight now we're into almost record-setting caution amount, I believe now tied with the most ever at a short track. Last one coming at Martinsville. Here tonight at Bristol, definitely setting the most ever cautions at Bristol here in this one. Alrighty, the field is double filed on up and we get ready to rock and roll, and Calatoni answers my question. He's going to choose the inside lane here on a dash to the finish. It's going to be a 7-lap dash. Calatoni now going to be in control on that inside lane. Ritter, Wolf, row number 2, then Heath and Simley, row number 3. iRacing pace car heads down on pit road, and Calatoni can go anytime in the restart zone. We'll go right in the middle. Parker going to try and stay to the right rear quarter panel. Calatoni, though, having the shorter distance, able to get back to the point. As old Steve Ritter, big time moment there off of turn number 2, somehow hangs onto that race car. But John Crosby going to get into the inside of Ritter. Ritter going to go on around. Evan Fuquay, big time contact. It looks like Tyler Humphrey going to get collected. Jeff Pogo, Rob Lowe, and Rabia Caton also involved. And this will now set a new record at 21. So that started there with contact between the 61. I mean, this started even kind of maybe a lap before, or I should say maybe a half a lap before, as Ritter was big time sideways down the back straightaway, so lost some momentum. Then back to the bottom side, his car washes on up. John Crosby on new tires takes a peek to the inside. Definitely an optimistic move, but late in this race, I mean, you're trying to get anything you can, and then everyone else just calamity into turn number 1. As man, oh man, this will now put us to overtime here tonight at Bristol. So we have, of course, 2 attempts at a green-white checkered when it comes to the 802 iRacing League. So with, of course, green-white checkers, if we get a caution under the green flag condition, so that first lap, we can then go into our second attempt. If we do get a caution in our second attempt under the green, will we finish the race under caution? If we don't get a caution, we see the white flag, leaders take the white flag. We are racing back to the stripe no matter what happens out on the speedway. So man, oh man, it's about to get wild here as Bristol, as we saw all night long here tonight. It has been crazy, and now to end things with a green-white checkered, only feels right to add a wild night and just throw in a little bit extra fuel into that fire. Alrighty, here we go. Lights are out around the Bristol Motor Speedway. So attempt number 1 at overtime. Anthony Calatoni, of course, going to be in control on this restart from that inside lane. Josh Parker trying to get back to that race lead. I thought he was going to be hard pressed to be beat on pace, but got that wheel spin, and that has been his only mistake. Can he get it back here in a shootout with Calatoni? We're about to find out. iRacing pace car heads down pit road and into the restart zone. Calatoni will go early. Man, Josh Parker times it perfectly. Those two going to go side by side through 1 and 2. It's going to be a great race for this win. Right behind them, Jamison Heath, Mike Wolf side by side as well. We will take the white flag one more time around. Josh Parker going to try and get to the inside of Calatoni. Calatoni, watch that up. Calatoni in the wall. That is the mistake that Josh Parker needed, because off of turn number 4, he will pick up his 7th checkered flag. Anthony Calatoni will bring it home in second, and Jamison Heath going on around will somehow bring it home in third. We got to watch here what happened to Heath here maybe after the start finish line as we take a look here at the checkered flag coming off of turn number 4. It looks like Heath just trying to get to that stripe, loses the back end, and then everyone else just trying to avoid. And yeah, some big time hits there late in this one, but out on the front straightaway, Josh Parker burning it on down here for his 7th win now in season number 7. Josh Parker giving it the old Polish victory lap here tonight at Bristol, waving to the fans. I know he is pumped up, and he's going to be in a familiar spot here. That is, of course, down in the victory lane here with the 802 iRacing League. And I hope Josh Parker is going to go to the roof of victory lane here tonight at Bristol. Looks like he will not. So, well, folks, I tell you what, we're going to have some good post-race interviews here tonight in this one, in an action-packed race. So don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back here after a quick commercial break and get all of our drivers all set on up. And then we'll be back with our Riptide Radio post-race show. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back from Bristol.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we head back here to the Riptide Radio post race show, and the first driver we'll be talking to here tonight is our third place finisher, that being the 71 machine of Jameson Heath here in this one. Jameson, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
I got you.
Alrighty, man. Up here, back on the podium once again in an 802 iRacing race. But man, this one a race of attrition. How you feeling after 200 plus laps at Bristol?
I mean, I feel great. I have no clue how I ended up on the podium. I'd spent the entire race repairing damage. I was pretty lucky to end up this far ahead.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like, I don't think there's too many clean race cars out there, but I tell you what, you drove the wheels off the 71 machine with the amount of damage you had. How much did you get up to? What was the max amount of optional repairs that you saw here tonight at Bristol?
After the first wreck that I was involved in, I think it was lap 8 or something, I had 6.5 minutes of optional. I ended up getting that down to about a minute 50, and then I got involved in another wreck on a restart, brought me back up to 2:30, and I kept that until the end of the race.
Yeah, and with that damage, 2 minutes and 30, nothing to kind of laugh at. That can definitely affect the handling. Did it feel like for you that affected the handling? How much of a handful was this car with that damage?
It was better as the race went on, as the track gripped in, but when the damage was a lot higher, it just was so unstable. I mean, I could manage it, I just couldn't hold on to it for too long. As the run went on, I just lost so much time. But honestly, as I get more and more of the damage fixed, it just kept getting better and better, and I thought I had a chance to win, and I ultimately did at the end.
Yeah, that you did, and I tell you what, Jameson, you're on a great streak. I mean, the last, now I want to say 3 races make it. You finished in the top 5 in all of them, going back to even Mount Panorama, where you finished runner-up there. Then Auto Club last week, you had 5th, and then here tonight a 3rd. So you're stringing together a pretty good run, even though tonight, man, it was an uphill battle.
Yeah, absolutely. The momentum definitely helps. Last week in Michigan, it was another scenario like this where I was on a climb back up to the field late. And Mount Panorama, that was a great race. I was just up front all the time, super stretched out, super fun racing. But even back to Nashville, I'm not gonna throw any shade because honestly I'm way past it. Not a big deal anymore. But got wrecked out of the lead with 8 laps to go. It would have been a great finish there too.
Yeah, and I mean, I want to kind of maybe mention it a little bit with that too, because racers, we have long memories. That one, is that now a little bit of a rivalry between you and the 92, or how do you look at that?
Absolutely not. No, we got it figured out in a conversation right after the race. I mean, I was heated in the moment. I showed my frustration under caution, but it really ultimately didn't do anything. I wasn't up front that entire race. It was a strategy call. I don't think it really affects anything anymore at this point.
Yeah, definitely can put it behind you, move on forwards, and I mean that's what you've done now. Like I said, now the last couple weeks, stringing together some really good runs inside of the top 5 in most of them, and then next week we head to yet another kind of driver's track, Homestead, Miami. And how do you feel about that place? And are you more top side or bottom when it comes to Homestead?
I have not liked Homestead in any of my iRacing career. From the beginning to now, I've never had good luck there. But I'll go see what happens there. I'll probably run the high side. I like the high side of most tracks. So get up right on the wall and see how it works.
Yeah, definitely going to be a fun racetrack to see all that and, kind of see where to go. And even tonight at Bristol, we saw a little bit of that where the top side started to come more and more in, let's say. But, man, it seemed like it was a fine line, though, because you overstep it and this race car gets out of sorts in a hurry.
Yeah, well, the super high side is never usable this race just because it's where all the rubber is. You get up in that rubber, you're just going to be on the wall. I had that happen a few times to me. I was lucky to not get any damage and not really hit the wall much or too hard. But yeah, it's literally unusable. The middle was decent. I could use it to pass, and that's where my car felt more comfortable most of the race.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that middle lane really came in nicely there at the end. And Jameson, once again, man, up here on the podium after a wild night. And I tell you what, you tied now Josh Parker for the biggest mover in this one, up 24 spots as well. That's really cool to see.
Oh yeah, in qualifying, I don't know why it invalidated my lap. I never hit a wall or anything, but I came across the line sideways and after my first lap and wrecked into the second one. The first lap was clean though, but it still invalidated it, so I never even got a time up on the board. So started literally dead last of this race.
Yeah, that you did, and turned it into a podium, and that was awesome to watch. So, Jameson, once again, congrats on a podium finish here tonight at Bristol. Before we let you go, man, and celebrate it, we're going to go hand over the mic to you one final time and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you like to shout out on YouTube for this P number 3.
Yeah, I got to shout out my friend Gio. He helps me with a lot with driving, especially with the long runs. So this track earlier today, honestly, I wasn't feeling too confident, couldn't get any long runs in practice, but he helped coach me, and ultimately the reason why I ended up with this amazing result today.
Yeah, awesome to see here tonight, a P number 3. And yeah, now we turn our attention to Homestead. So you, my man, keep up this great top 5 streak here, 3 weeks now, and looking for a 4th next week. So Jameson, you, my man, have yourself a great rest of your night, and congrats on the P number 3.
Yeah, thank you. You too.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our 3rd place finisher. Now we'll head on up to our runner-up finisher, that being the driver of the 84. It is Anthony Calatoni. Anthony, do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Brett.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how are you feeling after 200 plus laps and it comes down to the last lap there?
Yeah, I feel fine. Didn't have to do much work tonight, evidently. Just battle back from when I got hooked on the restart, just to lose talent on coming off of 2.
Yeah, definitely. You were definitely driving the wheels off this race car, and that first kind of big stack up, we'll start there for the night for you. That was a big time moment, got hit in the right rear. Did it affect the handling of the race car, and how much damage did that give you?
It gave me almost a minute worth of damage, so I decided just to sit there and get it all fixed. I kind of saw how the night was going, so I just decided to, just eat the lap, and I knew I was going to get it back. So, and then after that, just once I got my lap back, went in, got tires, and tried to drive to the front and try and steal the win, I guess, and it almost worked.
Yeah, that it did. I mean, man, we knew kind of coming in right that Bristol was going to be a race of attrition, but I don't know if any of us saw how much of a race of attrition this was. And even the cautions late in this one, I mean, inside, 50 to go, just caution after caution. And it came down to the restarts, and you maybe had your prayers answered, right, Anthony? You got the restart you needed with 10 to go. What was going through your mind there?
Try and get past Josh. Luckily, I think on one of them, I don't know which one it was at the end there, but he had a little trouble, hooking the rear up. So that's what made me, that was the break I needed. And then just trying to hold it, and we almost held it.
Yeah, I mean, oh, so close, but I mean, a great finish for our defending champion. And, I go back and I look at the surface, Anthony. Once again, a concrete track. Bristol's, it's a unique animal to begin with. But, man, when I think of 802 drivers, great on concrete, top of the list, top names that come to mind is, of course, you and Jeff Pogo. And here tonight, you prove why you're in that conversation again.
Yeah, that's about the only plus that we're going to look at for this, with the one slipping away. But yeah, no, I like obviously I like the concrete surfaces, and I went the wrong way on picking the settings for the wheel. So I think if I would have went to my original, what I usually race, it would have been a little different. But yeah, it's all right. Well, hopefully I cut into some of Josh's points lead here, trying to catch up to him. But after me having a blank out moment, I guess last week at Auto Club.
Yeah, I tell you what, how much, does this help, build the momentum? Because like you said, Auto Club, not a great race, or kind of points results, probably what then you hoped for, sitting 8th in points, but now tough track, huge race of attrition, able to come home with a second, man. That's got to feel pretty good though, and hopefully right the ship, because next week we also head to Homestead.
Yeah, another fantastic track for me, I guess. I don't remember if we raced there. I think we raced there last year. I don't know. Yeah, we know we're just gotta get something going. It's here. We have 1 or 2 good weeks, and then it's here I get involved. Someone else's screw up, or I screw up, or I don't know. It just seems like I can't get something going right now on Sundays for some reason. I don't know if it's just how guys are racing. I haven't figured it out. I just want to get. I need to get something going. I need that 26th finish behind me a few times, but we'll figure it out. Try at least get top 5.
Exactly, and yeah, it's definitely been the case, and I'm sure you probably don't want to hear this from me, but it seems like every time a Sunday night 802 champion is crowned, the next season it's always an uphill battle for them, and that's been definitely the case for you this season, as not a lot of things have gone right, but luckily here tonight, I mean, even with some bad luck, right, able to rebound a second.
Yeah, that's what I was just trying to rebound for a top 10. I didn't know how after I got my lap bag was going to go, but yeah, top 2's good. It's a good start of hopefully something here.
Yeah, definitely a good start to get the momentum rocking and rolling. And yeah, in fact, we did go to Homestead last year, and it was actually Grant Humphrey picking up his first career win there under the lights. Don't know if it's going to be a day or night race, but yeah, that place, always a unique beast there. And when we look at the schedule as well, like I said, Homestead, Kentucky, then Talladega, and then the week after that, your place, we head to Dover, week 16.
Seems like I need to get something going. A nice consistent run here into heading in the Dover and until Dover.
Yeah, I think that would definitely be the case, and that, I mean, you're still within easily 100 points of Josh Parker, so the points are far from over, let's say, when all things are considered, and yeah, just gotta keep on picking them up and putting them down like you did here tonight, Anthony. And with pace-wise, it seemed like this track very difficult. Where'd you find the most comfortability in this race car? Because we saw many times here tonight, even off of turn number 4, cars just stepping on out or into 1 and 2 right at the apex.
For me, it was the middle groove. It was that second groove that was the most stable for me. But I mean, you could run the bottom. You just couldn't mat it. You had to, throttle control coming off. Forget the top lane. The top lane, as soon as you got out of the black, out of the middle, the thing just took off up to the wall. I'm sure you saw it in one of the time. It happened to me. I overdrove a turn 3 and it took off. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what they did when they updated this place. You used to run all 3 lanes, and now you can't. It's a lane and a half, barely 2 car lengths wide now. So I don't know. This car ain't helping either. So it's all right.
Yeah, that it definitely isn't, and we see that even in real life when it comes to short tracks. But Anthony, once again, man, gotta thank you for being part of the show here tonight and chatting with me afterwards for this runner-up finish. And yeah, man, before we let you go, we of course got to hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you'd like to shout out to for a runner-up finish here tonight at Bristol.
Well, got no teammates, so got thank Talking Giants, John Boy Media, Rebuilding Warriors helps, WDB Diecast, all the sponsors of 802, you Brett for the broadcast, I hear it's doing really well, which is fantastic. I share it every week for us, and yeah, hopefully we clean it up next week at Homestead. Homestead isn't that hard of a track, so yeah, we'll go in there and try and get it done next week. Gain some points.
Yep, that you will have momentum on your side after tonight. So, Anthony, once again, congrats on the runner-up finish, and you, my man, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you in 1 week's time at Homestead.
Thank you.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our runner-up finisher. Now we'll go to the driver that has visited victory lane many of times this season. It is the driver of the 26, Josh Parker. Josh, do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Alrighty, man. First and foremost, how are you feeling after 200 plus laps here at Bristol? And did you think you gave this race away?
Yes, I did. I thought I gave it away twice. One by not pitting. I feel like I should have pitted with like 70 to go. But then spinning my tires on the restart, I thought that was it because Anthony had fresher tires and he was pressuring me pretty hard, so I knew he was a little quicker. So I thought that was it.
Yeah, I think a lot of us thought that was it because it seemed like not too many people could keep up with you with the pace you're running under green flag. And we'll start there, Josh. I mean, where did you figure out this pace? Because it seemed like the bottom was tough enough to begin with, but man, you were carrying some great speed down there when you got in that clean air and by yourself.
Sorry, something wrong button.
No
yeah,
problem.
I wasn't really. Honestly, I wasn't really comfortable. Wherever I was running. But the bottom, it seemed like I was saving tires down there, and if I underdrove the turn, I was able to get the turn a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. I only went up to the top when I thought I saw people go up there and were making time on me. But when I went up there, it didn't seem like I was quick. So yeah, I didn't really look at lap time. The only time I ever heard about lap times at the end on the heat cycle, I set the fastest lap, and I was shocked by that. But because of how old my tires were, and I did that about a lane up off the bottom, so I guess that's where the speed was. But I was just trying to run where people weren't.
Yeah, definitely. And, that comes back to kind of the concrete tracks. And I'm sure, you're a veteran of the sim, and I'm sure concrete tracks are much more susceptible, let's say, to temperature in the racetrack. And, that's the name of the game when it comes to Bristol, right?
Yeah, it's tough because the sim's so inconsistent on how they have the track heat up, and they're trying to get multi-grooves to come back and whatnot. But it seems like if you do have a green flag run, the track heats up enough to where you can see us move around a little bit. It gets tight on the bottom. But yeah, I don't know. This track was tough today. It seems like if you hit the bumps the wrong way, you get loose.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that was the case. And man, I tell you what, I'm sure that even second half of the race, you were just hoping, hey, let's just run this out, boys. And I mean, that wasn't the case, and you had to be on your toes for many of restarts.
Yeah, I was telling Anthony after the race, I was shocked he was taking the bottom. The green flag was coming out. I was noticing when I was in the leader, it kind of forced my hand to have to go at the start of the box every restart because the green flag was coming out so early. Which kind of sucked when I was the leader because I was like, well, if someone else figures this out, like they could know when I'm going, and it'll be pretty simple for them. So when Anthony kept taking the bottom, I kind of realized that. So the second the nose hit the box, I was able to. I went, and the green was coming out right then and there. So that's how I was able to get side by side with him. So I think that's the only thing that was able to get me to win the race, because that was able to give me enough time to pressure Anthony.
Yeah, definitely was. On that overtime restart, you two were able to stay pretty much door to door through 1 and 2. Of course, Anthony has a shorter distance. Then that final lap, you see, of course, your run. You look low. Tony then tries to cover it, and then kind of, overdrives a little, and then you see him get the wall, and you're probably like hopefully he doesn't come down this racetrack, right?
Yeah, well, I knew he wasn't going to come down. But he was, we were talking about after the race. He was saying he was going to throw the block in, and I expected it. But my strategy was going to do what I did last week with Jim Ott, and on that restart going into one, I was able to get to his door. But I knew coming off the turn, he had so much more grip with the fresher tires. So I just tried to do the undercut, I guess you want to call it, for F1, but kind of do a little crossover. To show him the inside of 3 and get him loose to try to at least have some type of situational thing happen at the last lap. And yeah, we went into 1 again. I expected him to chop my nose, so the whole time I was going to back off early and just again pressure him to try to get him to slip up. I think you're better off with the second you slip up that you lose so much momentum, so you're better off doing that than knocking the guy out of the way. And luckily enough, I heard him hit the wall, and I knew that was going to give me the clean run into 3, so that was probably it. But I wasn't worried he was going to come off the wall.
Yeah, and luckily then you're able to sneak on by and get back that checkered flag here in dramatic fashion. And man, Josh, it's a season to remember for you now. Win number 7 on the season, and next week we had yet another driver's track, Homestead. That's kind of been a little goofy with updates, just like Bristol. But how do you feel about that place? And are you more top side rip the fence, or are you on the bottom side usually when it comes to there?
Yeah, I was saying it last week. I used to run really good there, but now with this car, the way you drive it, I feel like it's a lot like Bristol, to where you need to feel the car roll on the right front to know when you're pushing too hard. And I never get that sensation with this car, so it's hard to know when I'm burning up the right front. But I'm going to be on the bottom. I hate running the top. I'm not good at it. I burn my stuff up.
And it's a little bit safer, right? Especially at Homestead. You hit that bump wrong in 3 and 4, and you're bound to hit that wall. And, with these next-gen cars, sometimes it feels like you're playing the lottery when it comes to damage as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, 90% of this car is staying out of clean air, and everyone starts migrating where the fast line is. And it's like, well, if you're all up there, the car's going to handle like crap. So someone's going to be down here.
Yep, and that is the case. And
So
speaking
let them all go up top. I'll take the cleaner.
For sure. And I think you did that tonight. Like you said, Josh, you're one of those few guys, especially early on, that you would stay up to the top side and just try and make moves, right? Get that track position, and worked out pretty well for you, because on that damage front as well, I think you're one of the few cars with pretty much little to no damage on this race car after this race.
Yeah, I was trying to use the top when I needed to, for sure. But the bottom was where I wanted to be. But you just couldn't, especially earlier on, you couldn't pass there.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that was the case here tonight. And yeah, I think that'll mostly do it for Bristol. So Josh, here down in Victory Lane, 7th time. I was hoping you were going to drive up to Victory Lane. I don't know if you can do that on this new updated Bristol. You can actually drive up the ramp and park on the checkered flag on the rooftop.
I'll be honest with you. I think people are sick of me winning, because I didn't want to. I feel like it's overdone now. So I just was like, let's just drive around in circles backwards. So that's what I did. I caused a restart wreck there, and I feel bad. So I want to apologize to whoever's in that when I did spin my tires. I hate doing that, but.
Yeah, we appreciate the apology. And Josh, I think that's one of the few mistakes we've seen out of you so far this season. And I think the stats kind of show that as well with what kind of season you're having.
Yeah, this is definitely probably one of the best seasons I've had in my career. It's a fun league. It's a fun group of guys. Even with, we running seven races, and people are not, what about it. It's there. Everyone's having fun. Where the bounty was fun. Just little fun little things to go along with it. It keeps everyone interacted.
Yeah, that it does. And, I'm glad you're cool with it and a good sport about it. And, yeah, it's that kind of stuff, too. And I always like to say, give me the fastest guys out here. I want to try and beat them so I can learn how to be fast, right? And, Josh, you're putting up the bar for everyone to try and beat each and every week. And, I hope you continue to do that.
Well, the bar is definitely there, because I shouldn't have. I didn't win last week. In fair, I shouldn't have. Jim ran a grid race. I shouldn't have won tonight. This was whoever won. just fair and square. Whoever won this race, it was a joke. This was like a track position race. But yeah, you have to put yourself in a position to get lucky, but you never know. It's just everything's lining up. I mean, you guys said it earlier. Half the people run in Elite Series, and I'm running 4th over there. So it's like, it's just how the cookie crumbles.
Yep, that it is. And yeah, it's definitely been a wild one. And tonight, like you said, was a roll of the dice, race of attrition, and you still came out on top, Josh. So before we let you go and celebrate yet another win here, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether sponsors, teammates, or anyone else you like to shout out to on YouTube.
You obviously doing the broadcast. Like I say every week, Rob does a great job with the series. All the admins, Steve Ritter. I know Mike Kelly wasn't here today, so but yeah.
Alrighty, well, awesome stuff, Josh. I'm sure we'll be talking again here in the near future, but you, my man, go celebrate this win, and we'll see you in 1 week's time at Homestead.
Oh, wait, hey, you liked that pit entry the other day, huh?
Oh, yeah, that was a wild one. I had to rewatch that back because I'll give the viewers a little context. So you and Tanner Tallarico and, a few other, myself included, racing hard with the ARCA cars at Michigan, very much drafting and, pack racing. We all pit together, and Tanner almost spins, almost misses the line, and then you go almost spinning the opposite way into the inside wall at Michigan, almost like Mark Martin. And like I said, I don't know how you saved that or didn't speed. How close was that for you in the car?
Well, I didn't play. Well, I sped in the car according to the speedometer thing.
Yep.
But I didn't say anything because I was playing off. I was like, oh, no one noticed that. And then you posted, but I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, because that happened right in front of me, and I'm like, holy smokes, I don't know how you guys even, made it on a pit road, because those things were out of control, and it was awesome to watch. That race was a bunch of fun.
We had a good time. But yeah, that was a good race. I wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate it. And yeah, Josh, like you do, we appreciate you putting on the show that you do. And, I always have fun racing against you. I even told Tanner, I know it was his first race on Wednesday night, but I'm like, you can race Josh hard and trust him because he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely. He did good.
Yeah, that was a fun one for sure. All righty, Josh. Well, awesome job again, my man. And yeah, congrats on the win here tonight at Bristol. And you have a good one, and you take care.
Thanks, Brad.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. That was our winner down tonight, making his 7th career win and 7th win on the season. Josh Parker gets the job done again and extends that points advantage. Let's run through tonight's race results and get things wrapped on up here from Bristol. So Josh Parker picking up the win. Anthony Calatoni gets a little bit of momentum on his side with a runner-up, and Jamison Heath up 24 spots from where he started. He rolled off dead last. He finished in 3rd. John Crosby there, big push at the end with those new tires. He was able to drive up to 4th. Michael Wolf out here with a top 5 finish. That is awesome to see. Scott Sinley 2nd in points will bring it home in 6th. Kip Easley in 7th. Mason Hall will finish in the 8th position. Brandon Hinton will finish in 9th. And Johnny Barker rounding out the top 10. Dylan Hinton will finish 11th, 12th going to Chance Griffith. Dan Holcroft 13th, Tyler Humphrey 14th, Grant Humphrey in 15th. Steve Ritter will bring it home 16th, Arabia Caton in 17th, Rob Lowell in P number 18. 19th was Tim Rogers, Evan Fuqua in 20th, Jeff Pogo 21st, Todd Perot 22nd, Nate Brooker in 23rd, Jim Ott 24th, Chris Progar in 25th, James Hisloff 26th, and Jason Harrison rounding out the field here tonight. So that'll do it tonight from Bristol. We, of course, got to thank all the live viewers and replay viewers. I mean, last week we knocked it out of the park with the views. I got to thank all you guys for that. That's all because you guys enjoying this show and the racers putting on. We got to give a big shout out to them. Sadly, tonight, not the greatest when it comes to the caution count, but that's what we can get sometimes with Bristol, and that's just how the kind of tide shifted here tonight with a record-setting 21 cautions. We, of course, got to thank all the partners and admins for all their hard work and all their support with the league. Some of the sponsors being BG Graphix, Riptide Radio, GStone Motorsports, Admin Boxx, Stone, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, as well as Rock Pirates RC coming on board as well. So yeah, that'll do it for myself here with Turn 3 Race Network. Be sure to tune on in. I know fall's right around the corner. We'll start picking back up with some more broadcasts throughout the week, but we got to thank you all for the support with Turn 3. Also, Turn 3 partner with Premier Setup Shop. You can find out more with the link in the description. I'll take you over to their website, and a click would go a long way. So yeah, that'll do it for myself here tonight. Once again, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and everyone take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your week, and we'll catch you next week. Will actually probably be a tape delay now that I'm talking about it out loud. We got a big old birthday party for my father, so might be a tape delay. We'll work that all out, but if so, we'll keep you all updated. We'll post it up on the YouTube hopefully a day early just to get everyone informed, but if not, 2 weeks time, we'll come back live on Sunday nights at 7 o'clock. So that'll do it here tonight from Bristol. Everyone take care, stay safe, have a great rest of your week. And once again, I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers. This isn't just a business.